This video is all about how to prepare a brand photo shoot session. Now, as a brand photographer, I'm going to kind of walk through my process. So hopefully you can see how you may want to tweak your process, especially if you're serving, let's say, the wedding industry or doing family photo shoots. Every niche of photography has their own unique process for onboarding and designing shoots. And so hopefully as I move through this whole process, you will see maybe where things can enhance and improve. All right, so let's get into it. The first thing that I always want to know is what type of business is reaching out to me. So I may get an inquiry, and on my inquiry form is a website selection. And if they have a website, I can then quickly do some research before any discovery call happens so I can identify, are they a service-based business? So real estate agent, coach, blogger, or are they a product-based business? They have their own product line, they have a shop, they might be an artist, a maker. And then there's another category that I feel like most people that I work with fall into, and it's their service, but they provide a product at the end of their service. So this is, again, makers and artists, furniture makers, a calligrapher, a floral designer. They kind of fall in this middle category because they're providing a service to their clients, but they're creating a custom product at the end for them. So I always want to look at a website and see where the business falls. Many times as brand photographers, we are called in during a website redesign. That means we might be communicating with the website designer. They may have a business coach. There may be a marketing person involved. And now it's a team collaboration in order to up-level their current website. So you may get previews of what the site's going to look like in the future. And that's important because you want the visuals to speak to what the business messaging is. And I'll pause here just to say, like I always say when we talk about brand photography is photography with a marketing approach. So the images have intention and purpose behind them. I'm just not walking in and grabbing a bunch of shots, doing some updated portraits, and now they have a great portrait to use. We are capturing portraits, action process, those lifestyles, and then product service images too, because we want the whole arc of the business. We want them to have strong visuals so they can talk about their business messaging, talk about future promotions, talk about their team, their process of how to work with them. So they need a lot of variety in their images. So that's why seeing their website is a great first start. Knowing if they're service-based or product-based also tells me a lot of information. So once I know that, and I see their website or a new redesign of their website, I get a sense of if they might be light and airy or dark and moody, or what type of style, imagery they need, what their service is, and I can get a general sense of sort of like which direction in very broad terms. I'm also looking for gaps. Okay, where do I see? Do they have any lifestyle shots of them doing what they do? Especially for makers, artists, designers. Those tend to all be missing. Most of the time, that segment is missing. People have a great portrait, and maybe they have some product shots, but it's that middle part, which I think is where all the branding magic happens, is often missing. So once we have a discovery call, I will ask them where they feel that they need my help the most. And many times they talk about the lifestyle and the process, and that is great. And now I know, okay, we need portraits, we need some lifestyle process shots, and if they're a product-based business, maybe there's some future promotions. If they're a service-based business, maybe we need to bring in some mock clients to show them working with clients. So those are the two different paths there. And even with that, like a maker, an artist, they work with clients too. So we want it authentic to how they work with their client. If it's all online, let's say it's more service, if it's a coach, then we have to represent it online. So that might just be with them with the computer. If it's more in person, that's when we bring people in, friends, past clients, anyone that they can source to come in to kind of mock. And I talk about this in other videos too. I'll leave a link to using mock clients for brand shoots, especially when your business uses and interacts with clients. Okay, so once we get that information, now the next step in the process, I have a strategy meeting. It's over Zoom. I just don't email concept boards and say, what does it look like? I want them involved in the process. I want them to be dedicated with some time so they can see what's coming ahead. Okay, at this point, this is another key point, I, as the brand photographer who's being hired for their brand photography, they are coming to me because I am creating a photo shoot experience for them. They are experts in their business. Business owners are so busy and wearing so many hats that they do not have time to dedicate quality answers to a lengthy questionnaire. That's why I do not do a questionnaire. I ask all my questions during the discovery call. They do not have time to then create Pinterest boards that align with what they want. That is on the photographer. In my mind, that's why they are hiring me. They do not have a full understanding or grasp of really what they need. That's why they're calling in an expert. So I take it upon myself, based on the initial conversations, based on seeing their website or a new website, I create concept boards or mood boards, depending on how you want to reference it. And I go to Pinterest, and sometimes when I'm working with some of these business owners, I am not an expert in what they do. So I might need to see visuals to spark the process piece. Everyone is really good at, these are the types of portraits I like, this pose, this light and airy, but the process, which is what most people are missing, they're not really in tune to maybe what visuals are out there. So I need to educate myself. I know when I work with some medical spas, I don't know all the treatments, so I need to educate myself too on like, what is this treatment? What does the equipment look like? How can we get creative with images? So for me, when I'm creating the concept boards, many times I'm educating myself on their expertise in their business, so then I can get creative and think of other visuals we can create on photo shoot day. That is why they are hiring us as brand photographers. We're just not going in to snap photos. We're creating this experience for them so then they have the best results at the end. Okay, so if a client loves and is inspired by another person in their industry, they can certainly text me, email me, either an Instagram page or a website. Maybe they're like, this is where the direction I want to go into, what the images look like. Great. But it's not mandatory. If they're really strong in the visuals and they have these ideas and inspiration, I love it. That really helps out a photographer, but most of the time people do not know. Okay, so then I have the strategy meeting. And again, I have this on Zoom, so we have a dedicated time so they can really dive into their photo shoot. And it's so important because now they can collaborate. I will ask, are there any images that you love, that you hate? If they do, or if they don't do a part of this process that I pulled an image for, we can just delete it. They can talk more about maybe they have new equipment coming in, they have new materials coming in, they want to get some additional items for the shoot based off of this collaboration, and they can see where it's going. If they have team members, they need to make sure that they are there and available. So that strategy meeting is so, so key. I can't tell you how excited clients are when they get a presentation of their business. They don't have to think about this. It has been designed for them. They are part of the collaboration process. They are always so excited by the end. And that's really the service that we are providing as brand photographers, is that they're coming to us for our creative ideas, for us to strategize and see where there are gaps so they can go about their business and day to day and get that piece done. And they are now part of this process for photo shoot day, and they have a better understanding of what we want to do on photo shoot day. Okay, so another great piece of these concept boards and the shoot list and the prop list, so then they're organized. They don't have to take notes. We have it all organized for them, is that this helps us keep us on track. I do not do half-day, full-day shoots. That's not the business that I run. Typically, it's an hour shoot, a 2-hour shoot, maybe 2.5, depending on if there's multiple locations. But again, leaning towards that busy business owner, they do not have a full day to dedicate to an entire photo shoot. It is exhausting. Going through a list keeps you efficient. It makes you not go awry and they're wondering, oh, maybe we should do this, or maybe we should do that, and maybe we should bring this in. It's all designed so they know exactly what we need to do. Of course, there's always flexibility if you want to try something new, but you're not going to go off the track and then it's now a 4-hour shoot when it was supposed to be an hour. So that photo shoot list and concept board, that whole document really helps you out on photo shoot day, because I break mine up in 2 categories. So here are some inspiration for images, for portraits, for lifestyle and process, and for the product and service. So it's all organized. If you just maintain, get the first setup, go and just check things off. So that's a really great resource for you. And the client appreciates it too, because they have to go back to business. They can't spend the entire day going to all these different locations and exhausting themselves while their phone is blowing up. Now they're going to get distracted and they start to feel the pressure, and then those images aren't great when they're under that stress. So you want it efficient and effective, and I always use my iPad. My images flow real time, so I'm not showing them the back of the camera. The images are so small. They're getting a full blown up image in real time so they can see the images. Two reasons why this is amazing for when you're planning your photo shoot. One, you can identify if there's something that is not working. Maybe it's the background, maybe it's something they're wearing, maybe it's the hair, make an adjustment. You can do that because you're seeing it in such a large format. Two, the client is seeing the images and they're relieved. They're so excited about what's coming through. They can't believe it. And so that gets them more pumped up and you yield better images. Now, I want to make this distinction when we're talking about the service and the product-based businesses, and then the middle one as well, service and product, is that you may be taking the photos, photo shoot day, at different locations depending on the business. And that is one reason, again, why I like to see what type of business it is. For service-based businesses like the real estate agent or the blogger or the coach, they might need a studio location or a rental space. And as a brand photographer, I have multiple different places that I can rent by the hour, depending on that client. That client might also be strongly interested in hair and makeup. Most of the time, if they need resources, I can provide that, but they will go and organize their hair and makeup, and then we coordinate the timing for the shoot. When I go on location, most of the time, my clients are taking care of their hair and makeup if they need to in, the morning of, or they're doing their own makeup. That is not as, I don't think, important in that aspect. They're not seeking out hair and makeup and they want hair and makeup on site, and they're doing it themselves, and you're going to get a very authentic feel either way. You want them to be comfortable. If they want hair and makeup and they need hair and makeup, then provide the resources, whether local people nearby or they can go to their own person. But if that comes up in the discovery call or in the strategy meeting, they'll either coordinate a haircut around the time of the shoot, do their own makeup. Okay. All right, so that's why when you're having these large format images, they can kind of see, okay, hair. I wouldn't have a hair person with me or a makeup person with me on set or on location, unless that specific client needs that. That isn't something that's standard, especially makers, artists, and designers that I work with, for years. That's never really been the case. So it really depends on who you're targeting, who your customer is. All right, so now you move through the process and they're seeing the images come to life and they're so excited. So now it's not a surprise when they get a gallery link in hopefully a few days from the photo shoot. They are excited, they can't wait to use them. Now for me, I like to get them the images as fast as possible because they need to start using them. They've been thinking of this probably for months, if not a year, that they need brand images. They finally have taken the step to contact you. So I always love to get the images as quickly as possible, within days, so they can start using them on social media, updating the website. And that's really how I have this whole thing planned out. I edit all the select images. I do not send a proof gallery for them to pick, and then we go back and forth like, oh, I wanted 15, not 17, or you can touch this one up. I edit all the selects. I'm fast at editing, but I edit all the selects so then when they get the gallery, they can download and start using them right away. If their package, let's say, has 30 images, in the gallery it has 60 images, 2 months later, they can go back to that gallery and buy a download of additional images if needed. So that gallery lives with them. You can continuously draw some income from those galleries. And clients appreciate that. They don't have to do all this back and forth, going back to the busy business person. They're there, they're ready to go. Now, of course, if they want some additional adjustments, that's fine. But it's really, that's just worked really well for me. In the description below, I will leave a link for my kind of like 4 common brand photography packages if you're interested. But it's worked for me. All this back and forth, it kind of just, I can move on to the next client, next project. They can go on and start using their images, building brand awareness, generating more business. Okay, well, if you enjoyed this video, you're going to love this start to finish lifestyle portion of a shoot that I just had with a wedding floral designer. So she's in that middle type of business. She provides a service, but there's products at the end for the specific client. This was so fun to shoot, and I'll see you there.